Welcome to today's session organized by VODAN Africa and Asia. My name is Putu Hadi. Last week, we discussed some updates from VODAN steering, technical team, and abstract update. And today, our focus is preparation of Fair Convergence Conference. As always, try to keep our mic muted during presentation to prevent background noises. If you have any question while the presentation is going on, please type into the chat box. And now I hand over to Professor Miriam van Reysen to lead the session. Professor Miriam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Putu, and so good to see everybody. And thank you for organizing, Putu and Alia. I have to say that I'm particularly happy today to see everybody because it's certainly not so natural that everybody is there. We do not have today Professor Francesca.
Alia, is it just me or yes, Professor Miriam disconnected?
I think there is something with the connection from Professor Miriam's side.
Okay, I will chat her now. I'm sorry for the trouble. I have sent a message to Professor Miriam and please wait for a while until Professor Miriam confirm what is happening. Alia?
Yes.
Do you have the slide from Professor Miriam?
Yes.
So I think you will share the screen then.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen right now.
Yep.
Hi, I'm back.
Yeah.
I got this. It's good that you continued. Sorry for that.
No worries, Professor Miriam.
Excellent. And I see that Alia is preparing. Just to finish the sentence that I was making, that the situation in Ethiopia is not at all good. And we're keeping in good contact with the team there, particularly our colleague, Dr. Kinva, has been in touch with us on Sunday and Monday. So we know that everything with our colleagues is fine. But of course, we really miss them. And in so many ways, and we also really hope for their safety. So that's what I wanted to say. On a good note, it has been a very good meeting yesterday with CEDAR that Alia will be reporting on, and of course there are also some other very good developments that we'll be discussing today. Thanks for taking over, Putu, and over back to you, Alia.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So hello everyone. Today I'm going to share some summary from yesterday's meeting on CEDAR localization. So the main thing that we identified at the meeting that the installation options. As you can see from the screen, there are two installation options for now. So the first one is Docker installation. The second one is developer installation. So we are still understanding what options can provide those two installation options, but what we understood that Docker installation, so it's easy to run, so it's low cost option, and then the configuration options cannot be easily changed, and the developer installation is like less easier to run, requires some time and settings, specifically performing the installation of some services, and but it can be flexible, and some configuration options and components of the system can be changed and recompiled. So it takes some time at the very beginning, but then it's quite flexible. So convergence with FTP is also possible if we develop the code. So, and then we are still figuring out what does mean for us as a VODAN Africa and Asia, localize the metadata templates, and what the needs for that. This week we are going to systematically reflect the questions provided by John. So the technical group will be working on it, and make some preparatory process for the next meeting on CEDAR localization. So that is basically it from my side.
Thank you, Alia. I think that the meeting was very good, and many here were on the meeting as well. So maybe there are additional remarks to make. What I'm a little bit concerned about is that I saw in the communication that you are thinking of meeting on Friday. It seems to me that that is quite short to get a sufficiently well prepared input for the discussion on Monday. So is it perhaps possible to either think of a different format that you can divide tasks and then discuss them on Friday? If you need to start on Friday, is it not very late? That is actually my point. And if this needs a discussion here today, we can discuss in we can divide also ourselves in groups, and this preparatory group could also meet maybe here in the seminar today to prepare that. Alia, how do you see that? Alia, are you on mute?
Yes, I think I'm having some internet connection issues. So yeah, I think this is very good point. I will try to arrange like the discussion before Friday, so we can be ready and then like have sufficient information. Yeah,
but,
thank you for this consideration.
Yeah, what I'll try to do is I'll go now through the preparations for the CODATA conference. And then I suggest, Putu, that perhaps we use the remaining time to go into groups so that we can really prepare both for the conference and also for this weekly seminar with John. So let me go ahead and I'm looking at the same time at the chat. If there's any remark, please put it there. Then we can go to the next slide, Putu. So first of all, this is the registration. Maybe Putu, you can also put this in the chat. It would be really good and important that everybody registers here, first of all. and so that you can also register for the different seminars that we have. And it's really important that we start populating those seminars with speakers and also with attendees. So maybe we can then go to the next slide. So is it possible to put this on view, or so there are 5 sessions that are completed. Also, the one that is still here as incomplete should be considered as accepted. There's the one on the Africa Horizons for Health Management, the data stewardship competencies curricula, the verification for vulnerable people during the COVID-19 pandemic, VODAN Beyond COVID, and the fair equivalency tool. And I'll go through all of them. And what I would like to do is really get a firm up who is the coordinator of each session, and that then, because now my name is still there as the correspondence with the conference, so it would be better that I put up the co-organizers there so that everybody can also start working with this online. So if we go to the next slide. So this session 284 is the one on VODAN Africa Horizons for Health Management. And I think that Reginald and Mariam were related to this. Also Dr. Raya, but Dr. Raya is really difficult at the moment to get in contact with him. So maybe either Reginald or Mariam could take the lead on this. And I think Wondimo, I don't know if Wondimo is here today, could also very much relate to this session. All the sessions have already a time and a date. So this one is December the 2nd, and it's a very early time from 7 to 9, which is the kind of the Asian starting time. So going to the next slide. This is the description of this one, which really relates to the integration of FAIR in health management from a perspective of health management being digitalized. So maybe I go through all of the sessions, and then we maybe make very firm commitments. Who wants to take the lead on which seminar? Reginald, I added you here, but there are also some others where you are also added. So maybe it's better to diversify it a little bit, but I would like at this webinar to have clarity who takes what session, and then to give you the tools to be able to get all the online preparations going on this as well. And if you want a particular session, then yeah, raise your voice or put it in the chat. Then we go to the next slide. This is the session 250, VODAN Beyond COVID. And this one takes, if you go to the next one, takes more of a perspective of what does it add, what can VODAN add to medical analytics. Can we go to the next slide? Medical analytics beyond the COVID-19. So this has been framed as something very much in the context of the collaboration with the Leiden University Medical Center, and could include those who are closely working with the hospitals. Going to the next slide. So in the abstract here, it focuses on the analytics that FAIR could contribute to medical analytics of diseases. So whereas the first one focuses more on the organization of health and health management, this one focuses more on the knowledge side and the analytics that could be derived from a implementation of FAIR on patient data beyond COVID-19. Going to the next slide. Let me know if things are not clear. This one is 251. This is the verifying of vulnerable information on people that are vulnerable during the COVID-19 pandemic. As a coordinator here, it has identified Morgan, together with the work of Miriam and Asma and Zora, but also the work of Reginald in Pumwani, together with colleagues there. And also potentially in Ethiopia among refugees and in Zimbabwe. So the question is whether, Morgan, you would want to lead this session, and then we could have a discussion on how this could fit together if you weigh your own results of the research against the experiences that others have in other countries.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, great. So then Morgan will take this session. Then if we go to the next one. Yeah, this is, so I'll add you here, Morgan, as an organizer. Then to the next. This is the description here. So it really relates to the findings in Tunisia and relating to that to Ethiopia, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Nigeria perhaps also, depending on what the Nigeria team feels it would contribute. And then the next, then this one on the FAIR equivalency tool. This is, I think, with you, Putu and Mariam. The question is who will take the lead, but both of you, of course, can put this session together. If you go to the next slide. So I don't know if one of you would like to propose to be the coordinator of this session. And to the next slide. So here the description is how the regulatory framework is analyzed through the FAIR equivalency tool, and also looking at the use of FAIR equivalency as a sort of a standard tool that can be used in the verification process. Going to the next slide. This one, the data stewardship competencies curricula development. This is something that is very much also with Professor Francesca, but since at the moment she's ill-disposed, I was hoping that Dr. Sakinat and Aliyah could take the lead in that. Aliyah's taking, is backing up Professor Francesca in all of this work on the curriculum development under the NUFIC project. And I was wondering if Dr. Sakinat would be interested to also be associated with this as an organizer and support Aliyah in this. And then, of course, Professor Francesca, this should also really be something that she should have a lead in once we have the actual session. Dr. Sakinat, would that be okay?
Yes, ma. Okay, ma. It's okay.
Wonderful. And I know Aliyah had already let me know that she is able to help you. And Aliyah knows everything of that whole project, so she can assist. Then,
yes, I'll work closely with Aliyah.
Yes, great, super. Then going to the next slide. So yeah, we'll make those adaptations here in terms of the organizers. I'll add you, Dr. Sakinat and Alia, and then we need to have a conversation on the speakers. I think we'll make some changes, but we can make some changes online easily once I've added you as an organizer. Then going to the next slide. So this is the abstract on this one. This is really relating to the development of the curricula for fair data science for the digital learning platform, Uganda, South Sudan, Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. But of course, it can also be used in all our VODAN countries, including Nigeria. Then going to the next, so what is now really critical is that we identify the co-organizer, and that the co-organizer then helps in firming up of the program. Who are the speakers? There have been emails coming in with requests to prepare video, to announce the event, to give more background, to give more publicity, invitation for the discussion of the papers that we are already preparing for the special. So I have been receiving those emails and actually stuck with just too many things. So I'd really be grateful if we can identify a co-organizer for each one, and that then I can hand over to you also the communication and the implementation of the program and the announcements and so on. So maybe Putu, we can go back to the first slide on this item so that we can see all of them. This one, yeah. No, yeah, this one. So the one on the fair equivalency tool, would it be, I mean, I know Putu and Mariam will probably both be working on that, but can I put one of you as the main coordinator? Mariam.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then stay there. Then the VODAN beyond COVID. Well, maybe let me first go to the other one that we've already decided, the one on vulnerable people. That one will be Morgan. Then the data stewardship. Dr. Sakinat, but of course with Alia. And then we have remaining the one on the African Horizons for Health Management and the one beyond COVID. So I'm looking at Dr. Reginald, which would you be able to help with one of them, Dr. Reginald?
It's okay, either of them. It's okay with me, Professor.
Both of them?
Well, I can pick the one beyond Africa, beyond COVID.
So that is, VODAN beyond COVID is Dr. Reginald. And the other possibility would be, Mariam, for you to take the one African Horizons for Health Management, really focusing on digital health, and then leave the session for fair equivalence tool to Putu, but of course with your input as an author of the equivalence tool. How would you look at that, Mariam?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I was wondering if there would be a possibility to consider that you lead the one African Horizons for Health Management, which can really focus on digital health and implementation of FAIR within the management of health, and so that Putu would then take the lead on the FAIR equivalency tool. Of course, recognizing you as an author, first author on that FAIR equivalency tool, but not to overburden you, unless There is normally the African Horizons for Health Management would be taken by Dr. Araya, but Dr. Araya is not contactable at the moment. So I'm trying to see if you could take the lead there and put her on the fair equivalence tool.
Okay.
Unless there's a suggestion. Yeah, do you like that?
That's okay.
So then I'll put the fair equivalence tool here for Putu. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And then the Africa Horizons I put with Mariam. So then now we are set on this. And then Mariam, you also have a poster session, I think, that is not here because these are my submissions, but you also did a submission. Maybe you want to also inform about that? Mariam?
Well, yeah, so it was approved. And yeah, that's I don't know.
Yeah, but what is it about?
Oh, okay. Maybe if I'll share my screen. One second. Okay, so the poster presentation is on VODAN in a box, proof of concept. And so there's mainly three subtopics of this poster presentation. And that's the deployment on premise, and then the proof of concept, and the future steps and call to action. So,
Miriam, we can't see your screen.
oh, sorry. Let's see. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can
Yes,
see.
yes.
Yeah, so this is the poster presentation that was approved. And like I said, it has three major topics, and that's the deployment on premise, which kind of goes into the introduction, and then the proof of concepts, and the future steps and call to action. Yeah, that's it.
That's very good, Mariam. It might be also nice to share. And this is something that you will be demonstrating and speaking to during the conference, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea of the sessions is that the sessions tie in with the different topics as we are addressing them in the special issue. And this is something that, as we are now moving forward in concretizing those sessions, will be very important to look at how to make use of the really very good proposals that have come for the special issue. And the idea would be that then the conference is one step to discussing the papers prepared for the special issue, and discuss them critically and use these sessions for that purpose. So I may give the floor to Dr. Sakinat and Misha and Alia, who have been organizing the review of the articles and communicating on this. And we're now looking at the next phase. So now our preparation is of the articles towards the discussion in the sessions at the conference. Dr. Sakinat, would you like to give an update on this?
Yes, ma'am. Is Misha around?
Yes.
Misha? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. We will all give updates. And Aliyah, would you like to share the timeline, the special issue timeline? Aliyah?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a second.
Okay. So while she's trying to do that, we can say that as of today, we have 33 articles altogether, and we now have 25 abstracts submitted. We actually started from 12 to 16. As at last week, we had 22 abstracts. So as at today, we have 25 abstracts now. Then I am sure that Misha had sent out messages to all the 22 authors that had their abstracts reviewed. So, and we also said it specifically last week that at this stage, we are not going to reject any abstract at this stage. Rather, we structure them more and encourage every other author to focus their theme on the special issue theme, which is centered around fair data. So now just sharing this timeline is to remind us of what we are looking, the time we are looking at, and when we expect all articles, because we are gradually moving away from the abstract stage now to article stage. So we expect that authors that have received their review, their feedback from the reviewer on the abstract, they do the necessary correction and move away from the abstract and continue with the body of the article. So we said that by the 4th of December, okay, that's what Professor Mina just discussed now, that at the Fair Convergence Conference. But our first article now, we hope to have a first draft by the 15th of January, which is very close by. You know, writing an article takes time. So we expect that the first draft to come in by the 15th of January. Then that review of the first draft, then communication to authors on how far they have gone, tell them, give them feedback from the reviewer. And by the February of 2021, 28th of February, we expect the second draft. That's a kind of a revision from incorporating the reviewer's comment into the body of the work. Then we expect that by March, all work will have been done, and then structure to the article's style of writing with the referencing, and then we go on to publication by April 24. So we hope that this is just like a kind of reminder to all authors that this is what we expect. So thank you so much, Ma. So the three other authors that have not received feedback, I'll just exercise a little patience. We'll get back soon, latest by tomorrow. There's a kind of Dr. Fehong was down a bit during the weekend. So just give her time to recuperate and then incorporate our comment there, because it's very, very essential. So thank you. Misha and Aliyah, do you have any other thing to add?
Well, I don't have anything to add at this point.
Okay, Misha.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I think everything has been said. Thank you very much.
Okay, Misha, what you are saying now is that all authors now, they should have received their feedback from reviewer now on the abstracts.
So a couple abstracts haven't been sent in yet. I still need to, those two obviously need to be done. And next to that, a couple abstracts still need to have their review formatted. So I'll be doing that in the next hour and send them out.
Okay, thank you.
And maybe as a follow-up question, Dr. Sakina, to Misha, there were a couple of reviews that were not put in templates when I reviewed them, and they also had not yet been seen by Dr. Sakinat and Dr. Fenghong. But for the interest of time, I processed it to say it was approved because they seemed like interesting proposals. And as Dr. Sakinat said, at this point, we really want to focus on the structuring and making sure that it really fits with the interest of the special issue. But have those ones that basically had one line, have they been processed, or has an explanation been given? Otherwise it might be as a strange communication by the authors.
No, not yet. Those haven't. Those are part of the small batch that still need to be sent out.
Okay.
That needs to be formatted first.
Okay. And then I think there are also one or two abstracts that have not at all been seen by any reviewers.
Yes, those haven't been sent out either, and I'll send them to you. And,
yeah,
Professor Folowunzo and Professor Leo.
And then Dr. Sakinat, shall we try to review these last ones today or tomorrow so that these can also be sent out? Is that would be feasible for you?
Yes, it will be visible for me. I just wanted to wait a little bit for Dr. Fenghong, but we can go ahead and since there are just 3 abstracts that are very, very new, but just reminding us all, the whole house, that we are gradually moved away from abstract now. So we expect people, we expect authors now to concentrate more on body of the work, on their body of the work, the content of what they are submitting, so that they can meet up with the middle of January first draft submission.
Very good. So then my question also is to you and everybody else. Would it be relevant maybe for next week to organize a session on the structure of the article and really go through that in depth, so that there is an organized way of going about the preparation of the article, so that if people would really start looking at the body of the article, that then next week we can firm that up with the kind of sessions that, the kind of sections that would be expected to be there. Would that be helpful, and should we prepare such a session? And then I propose that
Yes.
Dr. and I would prepare
Yes.
that.
Yes, that would be great. At least it will guide us on how to compose our work and meet up with the deadline. Thank you, ma'am. We'll work towards that.
Okay, then that will be our major thing for next week, plus an update on the meeting with CEDAR. We also need to follow up with the DS visit. It's because of the Ethiopia conflict that I've just not been able to do that, but I will do that as well. And because it's really our thinking that we will move with both. And that is also the view of Professor Francesca. And then we focus next week on the structure of the articles, but I beg people to, in the meantime, already start working on the content of the articles. And then I will, I'm just getting here a WhatsApp message from Professor Francesca saying good afternoon. And then for today, I would like to propose that maybe we finish early and that the technical group who has to prepare for the CEDAR seminar does so. They can use the breakout room here if that is helpful. And if there's any other group on the preparation of the sessions, they can also go to a breakout room. And if they need me or anybody else, I can come to the breakout room to have further discussions. Would that still be a good use of our time here today?
Yes, Professor Miriam. And 15 minutes left. I think it's enough to do breakout room.
Good. Then I think that for the breakout rooms, people can go. So I also don't know whether there's any need for a session on the special issue. But Dr. Sakinat, I leave that with you. But you have already Aliyah in your group also for that session. So maybe that's fine. Then Putu, how would you organize the breakout rooms? I think you can do that because you are the chair of the webinar. I can't do anything on the breakout rooms.
Yeah, Professor Miriam, there's a question from Dr. Reginald here. That is asking that does it mean that we have only one general poster?
No. That's only for the poster session. So Mariam had submitted a poster session and she was accepted, and that is the poster that she submitted. But for the webinars or the sessions, they are more like sessions where you invite speakers and for instance, then do that around a theme that would relate to contributors to the special issue. And then the contributors of the special issue, they could set out their article, and then these could be discussed like you would do in an academic conference. You come with your paper and then you discuss everybody's paper in that topic. Is that clearer?
Yes, clear, clear.
Okay. So maybe Putu, you can develop the breakout rooms.
Actually, Aliyah can can create a breakout room because I'm co-host. But how to manage who will be in which group?
Yeah. Let me get some proposals here from the floor, because I feel that the use for the technical group in preparation of CEDAR is really important. I suppose that on the equivalency workshop you can manage Putu. So maybe there should be one for the technical group, and then I could just be in contact with the other coordinators in WhatsApp, or speak in WhatsApp or in Zoom separately. Sakinat says, let it be based on the conference.
Okay. Aliyah?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you make the breakout room?
But Putu, before we do that, I want to actually know from Aliyah, because she had the difficulty in getting the technical group together earlier than Friday. So if it's better to use that time now for the technical group and get the preparations on the CEDAR together now, then I'm happy to organize the conference separately and in WhatsApp. So Aliyah,
okay.
maybe you can make a decision.
Well, we can actually make it now, it's fine. But otherwise we can do it separately with the group. So there are 4 of us. So we can do it, I think, in WhatsApp, and then like this, in a separate WhatsApp group as well.
So are you guys going to be okay to do that separately? Putu, Mariam, Aliyah, who else is in your group?
Rudwan.
Yeah. Okay, then we follow now the proposal of Dr. Sakinat. So you organize 5 groups for each of the session. So the sessions are here, up here. There is a session on fair equivalency, that is Putu. And the one on the vulnerable people and COVID is Morgan. The data stewardship is Dr. Sakinat. VODAN Beyond COVID is Dr. Reginald. And Africa Horizons in Health Management is Mariam. And then I think that all of us can choose to go to one of these breakout groups. You okay, Dr. Sakinat?
Alia?
Yes, I'm trying to arrange. This is my first time, so.
And I don't know, Alia, if I can go to the different groups. At the moment, I am here just as a participant.
So the first group is Morhan, the second group is Mariam Basaja, and the third one is Dr. Sakinat, and the fourth one is Dr. Reginald. But who else will be in the groups?
Can people choose themselves?
Yeah, I think so. So if they have the updated Zoom, they'll be able to go to the group they like, the room they like.
Okay, so and the fifth one is Putu, right?
Yeah. And Ezekiel, can if Alia makes me a moderator, can I then go from group to group? Hello? Ezekiel, do you know?
So I opened the groups. Can you guys join those groups?
I don't see, he invites. No. I don't see the groups appearing.
So I created breakout rooms, 5 breakout rooms. So with the given names, and then
We're not seeing the groups yet, Alia.
I think I need to assign each person to the group. I think I see only that option. So for instance, the first one is coming up, the Misha. So I need to assign him for the group, but I think it takes some time, like to assign 24 people manually.
Well, otherwise, if this is too complicated for now, maybe then for next time we can prepare it in advance. Then maybe what will be better is that we use the last 10 minutes for the leads to give their ideas and then to discuss it together. And then for every one of us to try and participate where you can. Is that better? I feel that it will take maybe 5 minutes to prepare the groups.
Yeah, I think it's fine. We can do the preparation in advance, so next time we do it.
So shall we then start maybe with the one of Putu? That one is very straightforward, Putu, the one on fair equivalency. Maybe you can give your thoughts on how you would do this. Putu?
I don't see him in the participants list.
Ah, he's left.
Oh, he's back.
Okay, Abdullahi would like to be in a fair equivalency group. Putu, I was just asking if you could, instead of going into the groups, we could just discuss a little bit what each of the seminar is about and who could then assist in terms of defining the speaker. So it shouldn't now be a very long discussion because we have already lost some time, but maybe you can start with the fair equivalency group.
Okay. So I will explain the fair equivalency. Yeah. Basically, it's basically fair equivalency is about to check how we can adopt it fair in a framework and health regulatory framework in a country. So Mariam and I use the method to do a fair equivalency to check is the fair principle is equivalent with the health and health regulatory framework. So Mariam did it in Uganda and I did it in Indonesia. So based on that, so we know that how's the percentage of the regulatory framework is equivalent with fair principle. So based on that, for example, in Mariam's work, she can conclude that the fair principle can be adopted in Uganda health regulatory environment based on the result. And what I did in Indonesia in Indonesia regulatory framework, basically same with what Mariam's did in Uganda, but the difference is Indonesian government will not adopt fair, but it is an opportunity to extend their own principle that we call Satu Data Indonesia to use fair. So that basically the idea of fair equivalency.
And please note, Putu, that Abdullahi would be happy to be part of this seminar, which is good.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we can, yeah. Then we can go to the one on measuring COVID, impact of COVID on vulnerable people through FAIR. Morgan, would you want to speak to that, what you have done so far and how this could relate to the work of others?
So we have done a field work in Tunisia and Niger based on interviews with migrants and a key person about how did COVID-19 impacted vulnerable people in the central Mediterranean region. And after we also, next to that, collected about 585 press articles that we analyzed it. And so we are now trying to use CEDAR or another method to extract metadata out of these press articles. And now, thanks to VODAN, a fair data point was settled at Université de Sousse, thanks also to the help of Marianne Cardelou. And so we are now linking those information on vulnerable people to the work of VODAN.
And perhaps, Dr. Reginald, it might be good to relate that to the work that you have been doing in Pomani and the article that you are preparing there with Francis and the groups there.
Yes, that is possible because what is happening now is to understand how different institutions, the healthcare institutions, are trying to reach out to people who have been affected by COVID, but also that how communities are engaging together to find a solution. So the work of the social workers, how they visit families, how they coordinate within the health services to reach out to these people is very important. And we're working together with a good team to see that we collect data that can inform what we are trying to do with VODAN Africa. I think there's a lot that is coming out, and I think the article will be very well supported by evidence from the ground. Thank you, Professor.
So perhaps I can ask if there are any other, if there's any other such work in Nigeria or Uganda that should also be showcased and discussed as part of this particular work. So this is really looking at picking up the impact of COVID-19 within communities that are quite on the margin and not having easy access to healthcare. Are there others who would like to also be included here?
I'll suggest Ezekiel Ogundepo. Ezekiel. Yes, I think he has some data, though not on health data directly, but some data related to COVID-19 based on population, based on population and fatality rates and maybe some social data from Nigeria. I think he has one. Maybe he can join the team.
All right. Thank you, Sakinat. Ezekiel, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, hello. I was having a problem with my network before. So we have data sets for COVID-19 according to what Dr. Sakinat said. Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ezekiel.
Yeah. So we have various data sets on COVID-19 for Nigeria. So we have some, not like medical data, but it seems like medical data as well. And we have also used some of them in our publication.
Thank you, Ezekiel. Then the team can work with that. Then I go to the VODAN Beyond COVID. Go again to Dr. Reginald.
Yes, this is a very interesting area because everybody is looking beyond COVID. What do we do with their families? People have lost jobs. How do we make sure that our health centers continue serving the vulnerable? How do we come up with it's like a strategic plan beyond just what we are doing, that in case another outbreak of COVID comes up in 10 years, what do we do? So that these key questions we need to ask and put together so that they can work perhaps as policies for countries, but also to influence World Health Organization to rally support, maybe even reach the European Union, reach the UN to come up with a global concerted effort on how to handle any pandemic based on the experience of COVID-19. I think it's an area that will somehow involve all of us to come up with suggestions. How is each country trying to come up with a proper strategy to look beyond just what has happened? We know that when people contract COVID, they may be affected for life. And so what happens to their livelihoods, their families, their children? What happens to medical schools? What happens to institutions of research? So these are the kind of questions that are coming out, Professor. Thank you.
Then Mariam, on the African horizons on health management.
Well, for now, I don't have a lot to say about the session. I was actually alone in my breakout room, but I'll be doing some reading on that.
Okay, and then
So, Mariam,
Abdullahi.
yes, I'm just curious. Can one join multiple groups? Just two, for instance. It's interesting, the New Horizons group, especially when we look at how we should begin to harmonize health management information systems for the future. So I don't know if by design, members can be in one or two groups at a time, so I could join Mariam.
Yeah, it's very possible, and really, really very good. So is everybody clear then of the next steps, that the most important thing now is for the session to have an identification of the purpose, how it relates to the special issue, and to identify, well, the speakers or the participants, which can be the authors of the articles. And as such, Abdullahi, there are some of us who are also writing more than one article, and these could fit in several of the sessions. So it's fantastic if more people can participate in more sessions. And then also we should circulate the whole program of the conference, because there are very many other sessions beyond what we have organized that are also worthwhile participating. But if you register, here is Puto has already put up, but I'll put it up one more time. If you register here to the conference, then that will give you all the information that you need. All right, then I think with that we are good for this week. We'll make sure that for next week everybody can receive the information on those sessions, especially when you register. You will see that coming up anyway. And then for next week, we are going to really focus on the technical aspects of the special issue. And I'll hope that Dr. Feng Hong will also be there, so that she can also speak to that where it's necessary. So over to you, Putu.
Okay, thank you, Professor Miriam. Is there any last question? I think there is no question anymore.
So Putu,
yeah.
Yeah, so I asked to be joined to the equivalency groups. Please note that.
Okay, okay, Abdullah. Yeah, I note that. Is there any question or comment before I close the webinar? Okay. So thank you, everyone. It's an honor to organize this meeting. As always, the video recording of the webinar will be available in this week in every channels of VODAN Africa and Asia, such as website, Slack, OSF, and WhatsApp group. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Putu. Everybody, see you next
You're
week.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.